Okay, this is going to be an extremely short video, but I just wanted to talk you through one of the PDFs. You're going to want to have the PDF that's called Circle of Fifths Simplified in front of you for this. Circle of Fifths is something you've probably heard about. When I was in college, I had a musician friend, and we sat in the coffee house of the Union, and he spent an hour talking to me about the Circle of Fifths and, writing on a napkin or something to show me how it worked. And all I remember about that is getting a massive headache and hating the Circle of Fifths. Never wanted to hear about it again. Which brings home an important point, which is that music theory is only useful to the extent that it helps you play music. It's really not that useful to just have floating around in your head as useless information. So the Circle of Fifths I have since come to appreciate. I will let you know, but I want to just limit us to one function of it here and not really lecture you on the Circle of Fifths. In the context of this course, the reason the Circle of Fifths is useful is that it shows you in a very nice and visual way that certain chords are a fifth away from other chords. And so one thing that I really hope you get out of this course is the understanding of how important chords resolving down a fifth are. And if you look at the Circle of Fifths, this is all the chords you're going to run into in terms of major chords. And you can see that if you follow the direction of down a fifth, so in other words, counterclockwise around the circle, you're going to see E going to A, and A going to D, and D going to G, and G going to C. These are going to be the meat and potatoes chord changes in all these songs that we're looking at. Now, if you've already watched some of the other harmony videos, you know, specifically the one about seventh chords, you know that making a chord a seventh chord just strengthens that resolution by a fifth. So if I start on the B chord, for instance, and I'm going to do two strums of B7, and then I'm going to move down a fifth to the E and play an E7, and then I'm going to move down to the A7, to the D7, to the G7, to C. All of those chords were separated by the distance of a fifth, going down a fifth. And sometimes called a chain of fifths when you hear a sequence like that in a song. And you will hear E to A to D to G quite a bit, especially in the turnarounds of a song, the last couple measures of a song when you're getting ready to go back to the beginning. So if I do E7, D7, D7, G7. So in the key of C, that would be D7, 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 G7. That's what you need to know right now about the Circle of Fifths. Some of the other uses of the Circle of Fifths are to understand the number of sharps and flats and key signatures and things like that. Like I said, that's why I'm calling this a simplified Circle of Fifths. We're just trying to look at one function here, which is that it helps you to see how chords can be organized in a chain of descending fifths, I guess we would call it. So one more time. B7, E7, A7, D7, G7, C. And the way to work these out, should you want to write a song or something, is you work your way back. So let's say you're in the key of G, and you want your last chord in the song to be G. Well, you can see that if you go clockwise around the circle, D is the 5 chord in G, and then A is the 5 chord of D, and then E is the 5 chord of A, so that if you cycle counterclockwise starting with E, with G as your destination, you should be able to go that kind of thing. The more you listen carefully to music, you're going to hear these chains of fifths, specifically in old-timey music that's influenced by ragtime music. These chains of fifths are a little sophisticated, and so jazz piano players and ragtime piano players use these chord changes a lot. But I think the more you get into old-timey music and pre-war blues music, you're going to hear these chains of fifths, and it's a really important piece of harmony to understand.